And we are live, and I am kicking off Jurassic June with the first of the Jurassic Park movies, and me and my cohorts and crew are going to be discussing them. And where else to start but the 1993 blockbuster from Steven Spielberg, Jurassic Park. Tonight I'm joined by the soulless trenchcoat, and the legend that is the soulless trenchcoat. Also, the suave, elegant, and absolutely fantastic Ethel Cross. And I have a special guest, a expert, so to speak, Mike Tarum, the acolyte of Ray Harryhausen and the co-host of the Missing Copy podcast. So, guys, starting off with Trenchy, have you seen? Is this the stream I had for my birthday? Was that your first time seeing Jurassic Park, Trench?
No, I'd seen it like twice before. Like I was pretty familiar with the film.
And what was your initial thoughts about it?
Oh, it's dope. Like I had seen Jurassic Park 3 first, so I kind of knew what to get into, but it's like the first one is just amazing. It blows the third one out of the water. It's just like, damn, like the cast is great. The dinosaur effects are great. Like it's just awesome.
And Ethel, what did you think when you first saw Jurassic Park?
I thought it was amazing. Like the dinosaur effects were awesome. And I first saw this in the theaters, and then later I'd see it again in the drive-in theater. So like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm super fucking jealous of you seeing it in a drive-through. Or drive-in, drive-through, fucking Burger King. Drive-in. Getting a fucking Jurassic Park Happy Meal. But no, in a drive-in, that would have been class. That would have been cool. Like,
unfreeze myself here.
I think you might be frozen. Today.
It gives it a second.
We're live. That's to happen.
There we go. Just like magic, I'm back.
Well, yeah, no, it kicked ass, and I think it used the right proportion. Unlike latter movies, I think it used the right proportion of CG and practical effects. Mike, you know a thing or two about Jurassic Park. What's your thoughts on the original classic?
Well, it's timeless. Considering it was made in '93, I was 9 years old when that came out. So for me, having grown up on Harryhausen films and the original King Kong and the like, seeing this movie was like absolutely mind-blowing. The dinosaurs looked real as compared to other films where you could kind of tell they're a bit janky, or maybe stop motion effects wasn't quite as polished as say as Ray's were. But yeah, it was absolutely amazing for me to see that first time round. And I remember still seeing the trailer with the Rex coming down and looking at Lex through the car window, and then Jurassic Park flashed up, and I was like, I need to see this. So yeah, it's a really good film.
Did you go to see it in the cinema with your folks?
Yes, on my birthday as well. So not only did I get to see the film, but then when I came home, I'd realised that my neighbour, who works at a cinema, had brought back with me the cardboard standee, the 6 foot one. So I had that in my home, and that's still in my collection now. I had a load of Jurassic Park toys, and yeah, it was just brilliant. It was just absolutely brilliant.
You lucky bastard. Big shout out to people in the chat there. Hey, Sadie, aka Wabanashi. She can't pop in because she's working, but she's listening in as always. Great to have you, Sadie. Miss you. Also, Phil's Creepy Videos. How you doing? And Cyan Ranner Term. Is that your significant other?
That's the wife. Yes.
Okay. Well, pleasure to have you. So this, I remember my first hearing of this movie. There was a magazine out at the time called Dinosaur, or was it Dinosaurs? You basically assemble the glow in the dark dinosaur skeleton.
Yeah, dinosaurs. I remember that.
There was a pull-out leaflet advertising T-shirts. I was like, what the fuck is this? And I was like, oh, okay. So, yeah, slowly, again, this is pre-internet. This is pre-fucking YouTube, pre-Empire. Well, maybe not pre-Empire. I never had access to Empire at the time. So I saw trailers popping up, and I'm like, oh, what's this? My sister took me to the cinema to see it when I was 9, and I remember watching it partially like this. I'm like, oh fuck. Just it, particularly Nedry, the attack on Nedry. But yeah, again, Spielberg got the rights from Crichton to make the movie, and if any, Ethel, have you read the novel? Have you read Crichton's novel?
I read the abridged version because, like you were saying, dude, the marketing for this film was incredible. So, like, it was everywhere. It was even in the schools because they had them in those little small book fairs that would pop up in the spring, fall.
They had the fucking annuals, the kind of the annuals. But Crichton's original book, one thing I don't know, and I've asked this. I think I asked Mike before, but I think if they'd gone a lot closer to the book, it would have been R-rated. For example, Dennis Nedry has his intestines splayed out, and characters' deaths are a lot more graphic. And would it have worked? Ethel, do you think in 1993 people would have gone to adults, not without their kids, would have gone to see an R-rated Jurassic Park?
Maybe, maybe not. Like, it all depends on the marketing and who's in it. I think if they had gone that way and they had made this an R film, the cast would have been a little bit different. You know.
What about you, Mike? Do you think people would have gone to see an R-rated Jurassic Park?
I don't think they would have. At the time, anything dinosaur related was always deemed a bit childlike. So, to me, aiming this film at as a PG-13 or a PG, whatever it was back in the day, to aim at that child audience, I think was the right call. However, now that 93 audience has grown up and they're in the 30s or the 40s or maybe even a bit older, I think it is time that they did make an R-rated version, and we're kind of seeing that in the Jurassic World films. They are getting darker as the years are progressing. But I do think there is a fan calling out there for sure to have an R-rated Jurassic Park for sure.
Well, what about you, Trenchy? Would you think if this had been released back in '93 as an R rating, would people have gone to see it?
I'm not sure. I don't know if maybe in the theaters, but I think like it would have picked up a life on DVD, like or VHS, because the cult following and like people would. I think people would eat that up. I don't know if like the mainstream would, but I think it would have got a cult following at least.
Oh, like. Again, the danger is you could end up like if you did that, you could end up something like Roger Corman's Carnosaur. Yeah, like, which it's a fun movie, but it's not great. But yeah. So I think we all know the plot. Eccentric billionaire builds an island, clones dinosaurs, brings people to the island to see what they think. And yeah, it all goes to shit. But first off, Ethel, favorite character and why?
Oh, gonna have to go with Grant.
Any particular reason?
Well, he's the hero of the film, basically. I mean, he's out there, he's saving the kids, he's risking his life against the raptors. I mean, what are you gonna do? He's got all the answers to what the audience questions are.
Yeah, he's basically the well, he's obviously the dinosaur expert, but he's the kind of, would you say that he's the Indiana Jones type in the movie?
Absolutely, I was gonna say he's the Harrison Ford of this movie, you know.
And could
He's
you
your
see anyone else play
hero
that role,
character.
or do you think? Oh, sorry, Ethel. What?
I was just saying he's the dashing hero character.
Yeah. Could you see anyone else play that role of Alan Grant, or do you think Sam Neill is like he is Alan Grant? He encompassed that role.
I really don't know who you could find, like, because he's been that character for the whole franchise, you know. I mean, they didn't replace him with a different actor in Jurassic Park 3 or anything, you know. So
Okay. Yeah, you wouldn't try and like sneak forward in there, goddamn dinosaurs. Get off my damn island, you dinosaurs. No?
now it's too close to Indiana Jones, you know, as far as
Yeah.
archaeologist type stuff, you know.
Mike, favorite character?
Oh, I think it's a tie between Hammond and Goldblum. And the only reason it's a tie between those two is because I like the energy that both of them have coming off each other. So you've got Hammond, who's the eccentric billionaire, but he's also like the loving grandfather. He wants to bring joy to the world. He wants to, make something, not only for himself in terms of, showing people that it's not an illusion like he says in the film, but he wants to bring something that, no one ever has done. And, apart from zoos, which is, probably the best thing we'll get to seeing living dinosaurs in this day and age. Being able to clone a dinosaur, that would be brilliant. But then I also like Jeff Goldblum's, Ian Malcolm, sorry, not Jeff Goldblum, Malcolm, there we go. I like his points in terms of, you're bringing something back that we can't understand or control. You're basically running before you can walk. And then I also like the fact that even in his moments where he's quite a sleazy character at the end of the day, when you look at most of his dialogue in the film, he's just trying to get his leg over Sattler half the time. But yeah, when he has that stripped away, he then becomes an actual person.
In the Jeep chase, I love pointing this out, in the Jeep chase with the T-Rex, he's still fucking copping a feel of Sattler's leg. He's just like... he is an absolute sleazebag.
Yeah.
But he's right, and he makes sense. And I think the fact he himself is kind of... The problem is, he's such a fucking Casanova kind of character. Nobody takes him seriously until shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
And you're dead right about Hammond as well. Hammond isn't... I've seen arguments where people say, "Oh, Hammond's a bad..." He's not. He's not a bad guy. He's the darker side of Walt Disney. Yeah. That's how I would classify it. Oh, big hello to JP Carnotaurus, dude. My favorite characters are Ian Malcolm, Owen Grady, and Deidre Stark. Natalie says her favorite characters Alan Grant. Thank you, JP dude. Trenchy, what about you? Who's your favorite character?
Malcolm, and pretty much for everything you guys just stated, but he has some of the best lines in the movie. He sticks out, and I like that, he's a sleazebag, but he's not a bad guy. Like you pointed out, he does help save the children. He's not like a total stuck-up douchebag, but he is like a sleazebag, but he's one of the most interesting characters in the film.
Originally, he was supposed to fucking run off as well, but Jeff Goldblum was like, I don't want my character to do that. Can I not also pop out a flare and try and fucking save the kids? Which is pretty cool. And yeah, Jeff Goldblum, he's eccentric. He can be annoying, but the character is cool. Yeah. My favorite character is probably the Boba Fett of the franchise. He looks cool. But he does fuck up. Mike, who do you think I'm talking about?
Oh God, Timmy? Is it Timmy?
No. Who's the dude? Who's the dude who looks like fucking hot shit?
Nedry.
And talk? No, not even that.
No.
Muldoon. Oh. Everyone back in the day, everyone's like Muldoon's class. Muldoon's awesome. But I kind of fucking drank the Kool-Aid. And then I watched Jack Ewan's video where he's talking about Muldoon saying, like, he's supposed to be the fucking crocodile hunter of raptors. And, like, he's like, what was it? They bring the raptors in a container at night. They're bashing it off trees. There's about 30 guys with loaded weapons. No wonder this animal's pissed off. And he's just there with his big shotgun and his socks. Why? His equivalent of Boba Fett, instead of a jetpack, instead of a cool helmet, is a big shotgun and a pair of big fucking socks.
Yeah.
That's all. Don't get me wrong. Bob Peck is cool. Bob Peck is awesome. But at the end of the day, like, he is essentially a fucking idiot who should know better than to go off and try and hunt a fucking pack of raptors by himself. I like that line, clever girl. That's an awesome line. But again, overrated character. He is the Boba Fett of this franchise, if anyone asks me. But I still have a soft spot for him. R.I.P. Bob Peck. It was a cool role. I don't know if he was in anything else. I can't think of anything else he was in. But
I don't think he's been in anything I've seen.
Sorry, Mike.
I was just going to say, I can't think of anything else I've seen him in, personally.
Again, rolling back to the dinosaurs. Ethel, what was your favorite dinosaur in the movie? Be it to the actual kind of, it looked real, or you just thought it was a cool dinosaur addition? Or?
Well, back when I was a kid, I really liked the raptors, and I really liked the Dilophosaurus, and I could never quite make up my mind which one I liked more, you know, because sure, the raptors can, like, hunt things, and, like, that's usually the first time anybody gets exposed to, like, what a raptor is, because before Jurassic Park, it was, like, T-Rex, Triceratops, Stegosaurus, like, your bread and butter dinosaurs, you know? But then, like, Jurassic Park comes out, everybody's talking about raptor this, raptor that, and, like, I don't know. I thought they were cool. I like how the Dilophosaurus can go stay there.
Yeah, they were cool in the movie, and I love the designs. But like, when you look at stuff now, like, Mike probably knows, raptor deer, up until that point, help me out here, Mike, wasn't up until that point, wasn't the biggest velociraptor like the size of a chicken or a turkey at the time?
Yeah, the biggest, in terms of size, the velociraptor is as big as a turkey, or maybe slightly bigger, but they're more or less the same size. Deinonychus was about the size of a human, but then after Jurassic Park, they found Utahraptor, which is basically taller than a human. So, yeah, they come in multiple sizes, but the Velociraptor by name is one of the smaller species.
Do you think they just didn't call the raptor Deinonychus because Velociraptor just sounds fucking badass?
Well, it is. I mean, it rolls off the tongue easier. And also in terms of, I think even Crichton mentioned it in one of his interviews or something, that the Velociraptor sounds more interesting and threatening than Deinonychus. So you've got the two arguments for it. I mean, even in the concept designs, if you look for Jurassic Park, the illustrations of the raptor by Crash McCreary are actually labelled as Deinonychus. So at some point in the film, they were going to go with Deinonychus, but then changed it to Velociraptor.
Okay. That's cool. I just
sounds.
I don't know. I suppose. Sorry, Ethel.
I was just saying, yeah, it sounds more vicious.
Yeah, raptor. Yeah. The Dilophosaurus was actually way fucking bigger. That fucking thing would have been about the size of a minibus, if I'm not mistaken. I hope. Do you think Mike will see a Dilophosaurus in Dominion, and do you think we'll see a fully grown one?
I'm really hoping we do. We got the hologram in Jurassic World. We got teased with the sound of a Dilophosaur in the very opening sequence of Fallen Kingdom. So I'm hoping we're actually going to get to see a fully grown Dilophosaur in Dominion. And just pointing on the fact that you were saying about the size of the Dilopho, originally the Dilophosaur was supposed to be the same size as the Velociraptor in the film, but Spielberg downscaled it because he didn't want people to get confused between the two.
But the fucking, sorry, dude, I heard that, but the fucking thing has a ridge on its fucking nose.
And the frill as well. And it's like, how can you confuse the two?
Jesus Christ.
Not to mention that the Dilophosaurus's neck's like 3 times longer as well, so.
Fucking hell. Mike, favorite dinosaur in the movie?
Oh, God. I like all of them, but they're all for different reasons. Like, I like the Brachiosaur because it's the first full CG creature we see in the franchise. I like the Triceratops because it's so hands-on and tactile and it moves beautifully. But then I think my ultimate favourite is the Dilophosaur. And it's just because of how weird and outlandish it is. And despite the whole frill and venom thing being like, oh, reasons why they couldn't do this has been like the bread and butter of internet memes for like decades now. But it's still just tantalizing to watch. I love how innocent it looks and then can just turn on a dime to the most vicious creature possible.
Yeah, it's an interesting it's an interesting thing, and I think it's kind of serendipitous as well. That like their get out of jail free card is, oh, we slice this animal with other reptiles, so you can just turn around and say, oh, it's got the frill, it's got the venom because we sliced it with a snake, or we sliced it with a fucking one of those Gila lizards, or one of the lizards from Australia. Mark, what is your favorite dinosaur from the first Jurassic Park movie?
From the first Jurassic Park movie, I have to go with the Dilophosaurus. I really like the look of it. The creature look was fantastic. Agree that it should have been. I wish it would have been its actual, scale, full size was in real life. But for what it was, Dilophosaurus is my favorite.
Trench, favorite dinosaur, dude.
I like the raptors, but I gotta give it to the dinosaur that kills Newman from Seinfeld in the car. Like, I like how he has the lips.
Yeah.
Oh,
it looks like Dilophosaurus is winning all across the board.
It is cool because I like how the things come out. Like, I like the lizards. I already like the lizards with the big red things where the veins pop out and shit. So that was dope.
Trench, have you seen the picture of the Pope on the balcony and his fucking shawl is blown up with the wind, and the tag is, the Pope can spit holy water from 15 meters.
Oh shit! I gotta see that. I have not. But that's funny.
Oh yeah, no, it's fucking it's awesome. The dinosaurs were cool. Not the most scientifically accurate, and certainly they weren't accurate back then, but they were the best, I think, of what science had. But now they're totally kind of revamped, and I don't know if we're going to get that in the new movie. Crash McQuarrie's designs were fucking awesome. Like the Rex, there's a fucking drawing of the Rex that just it looks scary. Going on to something else, and I had brought this up before with Mike. So originally, before CG was brought in, Phil Tippett was going to do the dinosaurs. Phil Tippett was like Harryhausen was a stop motion legend. Mike, do you think the movie would have been as good if I know I've hit you with this question before, but I want to get your take on it again, because your opinion as a fan of Jurassic Park and as a stop motion creator. What do you think of Phil Tippett's designs, and would they have worked?
I think they would have worked, and I know people are going to be screaming in the comments saying, oh no, they wouldn't, because we've seen the footage online and it looks terrible. Well, just to remind everyone, the footage that you see online isn't film quality product. What that is, that's what they call Bible footage. So the shot with the raptor with the black background just moving around in general, that's what they use for animators to be able to kind of get an idea of how the character's going to move, how it's going to kind of like bob around and so forth. And then the road attack and the kitchen sequence are called stop motion animatics. So it's basically kind of like a dress rehearsal, if you will, of what the puppets are going to be doing in the shot. And then the little doll characters that you would have are what would be, right, okay, so this is where the human's going to be in this shot. This is the perspective, and they get a chance to play around with it. So when people say that the CG was better than the stop motion, it's like, well, that wasn't even the proper stop motion. If you look at Phil Tippett's work throughout his entire career, that's the final product that you probably would have got for Jurassic Park, and if not a bit better. So I think it would have actually worked. However, having gone over the previous scripts for Jurassic Park on the Missing Compy podcast, there are a lot of scenes where I'm thinking, that have worked in stop motion, because you're talking about hiding a puppet in a specific way or having it interact with elements in a certain way. And at the time, we didn't have CG for that, and stop motion is notoriously difficult for doing certain effects in environments. So it would have been difficult if they'd gone with those previous scripts, but had they gone with the scripts that we got for the final film, then yes, I think it would have worked.
Okay. And would you have enjoyed it if they had given if Tippett had given the raptors the snake tongue? Or would you be like, that's bullshit?
I would have been indifferent to it personally. If we're talking that these creatures have been spliced with different animals to bring dinosaurs back to life, then to me it's no different than saying, you know, an animal's going to change gender because it's got frog DNA in it. Yeah. I think what's annoying though is that you had Jack Horner turn around and said, well, these are real animals. They wouldn't do that in real life, which has now been retconned later on in the franchise by saying, oh, these aren't real animals, they're just what we imagine them to be. So had that argument just taken place in the first place, then the tongue flicking thing wouldn't have mattered. So it wouldn't have made a difference.
Okay. Ethel, two questions for you. One, would you have watched, again, keeping in mind what Mike's saying, a stop motion Jurassic Park with top-notch, absolutely professional, top-notch stop motion, and would you have been okay? Would you have thought it was silly if the raptors had snake tongues?
No, I would have been all for it. Like, I like stop motion, and I like it when they go overboard with some of the I don't know what you'd call it, the aspects of what a dinosaur is, because it works out. Like the Dilophosaurus, supposedly it wasn't supposed to have, it doesn't have that krill, and it doesn't spit the acid.
It's like
Mike saying, and like that worked out great, and people overwhelmingly like that. So like I'd have no problem with that, and it's cool.
No, I would have been interested to see it. Do you think it would have been successful? As successful as Jurassic Park was if they'd used stop motion?
I think it would have, because they would have blended it with the CGI like they Hollywood for CGI as a special effects standard. Like if you watch any movie in the mid to early 90s, they started putting that stuff in even before Jurassic Park, but especially after Jurassic Park. So there was some movement going on with trying to get that to become a standardized means of effect.
Yeah, like in RoboCop 2 with Kane, they done really good fucking stop motion. So, Mark, would you have watched?
Great.
Sorry, Ethel. Okay, Mark, would you have watched?
No, I just said it looks great. I'm on a delay, I think.
Yeah,
so
you're on a bit of a delay. It's okay.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. That's all right. That's okay. Mark, would you have watched the Jurassic Park that used stop motion? And do you think it would have been successful?
I would have watched it. would it have been as successful? Maybe I can't say yes or no for sure, but I think it would have been a success because stop motion is proven that it can and does work. I mean, Harryhausen built a whole career on it, so I honestly
Yeah.
think you could have used stop motion in Jurassic Park and it would have worked out just fine.
Yeah. And do you think it would have been? You're not. You wouldn't be 100% sure. Like, would that have affected the success of the movie?
I don't think it would have brought down the success of the movie. I think it would have actually elevated it a little.
Okay.
Again, grew up with Ray Harryhausen stop motion in just about 90% of the movies I watch. So, from Jason and the Argonauts to Clash of the Titans, to Sinbad, I honestly think you could have used stop motion for for Jurassic Park, and it would have worked on a grander scale.
Yeah, no, I think at the time, yeah, maybe the latter movies, Mike. Do you think that they would have had to up the game?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
For the latter movies, yeah, they would have had to. For what they were going for in the two sequel, in these sequels to Jurassic Park. I think they would have had to do something more CGI because I don't think the stop motion would have held up as good for what they went for in the sequels.
Trench.
Yeah.
Trenchy, would you have watched the Jurassic Park that used stop motion? And do you think it would have been successful as it was with stop motion?
Oh, I would have watched it. Like, around that time, I had, like, probably... When I'd seen Jurassic Park as a kid, I had already discovered Clash of the Titans, and I loved the shit out of the original Clash of the Titans, so I would have dug it, I was already into that type of stuff. I'm not sure how the main audience would go. I mean, I don't see why not, but again, who knows, Who fucking knows with these people sometimes.
Yeah, so again, Phil Tippett's fucking. There's even a line in the movie, right, Mike, where Alan Grant is like, "Oh, we're being replaced. Don't you mean extinct?" I think Phil Tippett actually said that in the workshop, and they worked it into the movie. So the CG is awesome, but I think I always consider CG a crutch. And the thing that really stood up to it and stood up and held it up was Stan Winston's creatures and his designs and how he brought them to life. Ethel, what did you think of Stan Winston's dinosaurs in the movie?
Oh, they look great.
Like, was there any that you thought looked like a real animal, or was there any that you thought was incredibly indelible, or anything like that?
Well, like, not especially, because like it's just the nature of the thing is you have to suspend a certain amount of disbelief. But they did the trick. They were convincing.
Yeah, do you think it helped that they were working in sync with the CG? Like the T-Rex breakout, for example, is probably up there with Aliens for like the large kind of animatronic of the alien queen with the model, whereas in the T-Rex breakout, it was the large animatronic of the T-Rex with the CG. Do you think both kind of helped each other kind of stand up and hold up?
Oh, for sure. If they did this now, they would do it 100% CG, and well, we all know what that looks like. And
Yeah.
you know, when you have an actual prop, for all lack of a better word, in that scene, you know, something that acts as a character that actors and actresses can work off of. You know, they're not looking at a green tennis ball on the end of a pole. They're looking at something that looks like a dinosaur.
Yeah, and it helps the performance. Hey, Sasha. Mark, what do you think? Do you think Stan Winston's creatures? What's your thoughts on them in Jurassic Park? And did you have a favorite kind of design?
My favorite design is the female Velociraptor. Winston's creatures are fantastic. Always, you know, and anything you get Stan Winston working on, by far, it's gonna be a huge bonus. So, as far as like actual, you know, the bringing of Winston's creatures in the CGI, I thought it worked well for Jurassic Park. You know, there are certain parts where you could tell it was like really, you know, CGI, and then there are other parts where like you weren't sure if it was you know, a Stan Winston monster or CGI. So I thought they did it. They blended it just right where everything balanced out perfectly.
Yeah. Trench, what did you think of Stan Winston's creatures?
Oh, they look badass, man. Like, all the dinosaurs looked unique. They all had cool designs. I really like the scene in the tree with the long neck dinosaur, and it was like the daylight, and you can see it, and they're like touching it and shit. Like, that was cool. Like, they all look good to me. Like,
And do you think the practical effects helped the CG and the CG helped the practical effects? They were just perfectly balanced.
yeah, like I couldn't even tell like which was which puzzle type. Like, some of them I could tell it was the puppet, but it's like I think they helped each other a lot for sure. Like, that's the way CGI should be used to enhance practical effects. You know, that's how it should be used, hand in hand.
Okay. Mike, your thoughts? Do you think Stan Winston's designs, like, Stan Winston's designs were perfect and the CG was a crutch, or do you think both of them kind of helped each other stay upright, or did one falter for the other?
No, they definitely helped each other a lot. I mean, let's put it in the grand scheme of things. The film only has so many minutes worth of CG. If you were to have made the whole film with CG, the effects wouldn't have held up at all. If you'd done the whole film with Stan Winston's animatronics, you know, completely as flawless as they are limited in their performance. So anything that would have required anything like, say, for example, like the raptors running in the kitchen. There are moments when you're watching the practical effects of the raptor running from the ground level. It looks a little bit cheesy, but the moment you get cut to the CG version of it, it feels more active. It feels more energetic and alive.
Yeah.
So the two work well off each other, and I think having sparsely used the CG and only using the animatronics in scenes that didn't require any quick paced movements, I think definitely works well with that particular film. Any film after that, say for example, The Lost World and JP3, it worked okay to a degree, but then I think that's when they started getting more confident with CG, that they felt they could actually push the animatronics to one side and bring in more of the CG effect, which isn't the way I prefer to go things. I like to do things as a hybrid, so animatronics with an overlay of CG to enhance the performance of the animatronic.
Yeah, like the symbiosis of making it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like it came out in 1993. It's nearly 30 years old now, right?
Yeah.
So just Ethel, do you think the effects still hold up? Yes or no?
Yeah, no, they still look good. I mean, you compare it to other movies, compared to some movies that came out well after this movie had come out, and they have the CG, it still holds up better than them.
Yeah.
You know?
Mark,
We could round up with something like Spawn in this.
Yeah. Or fucking Godzilla 98. Mark, do you think the visual effects, both CG and practical, hold up today?
Yeah, having just watched Jurassic Park a few days ago, that movie still holds up today. Everything that made you like Jurassic Park is still fantastic.
Trenchy, do you think the effects still hold up?
Yeah, man. Like just what everybody just said, it still, everything still looks fucking dope and shit. Like it definitely holds up, And there's a reason why it's a classic. When they brought it back in the drive-ins this year during COVID, it was the most. It made the most money out of all the movies again, so it's still dominating to this day. Like,
yeah,
for a reason.
Just a big shout out to people in the chat. City Hunter Love says Dollar Tree has a bunch of Jurassic Park blind bags and figurines. If anyone's interested, they're actually licensed. Sexy Monkey says hello. Ben Grimm says, "What a pile of crap CGI." Okay, Ben. Carnotaurus Dude says, "I would trade a Carnotaurus and a Ceratosaurus if I were in Jurassic Park." Good for you. When I read Jurassic Park, Michael Crichton's novel, Nedra's death was more gory than the film. Yeah, we went over that to your PPR Force, dude. Speaking of the novel, I don't know if you guys know this, but there was 2 T-Rexes in the novel. There was a adult and a juvenile. Among other things, there was other additions such as Muldoon surviving and John Hammond dying. He trips, breaks his ankle, and is eaten alive by compies. But is there anything that you like? Have any you got? Mark, have you read the original novel?
Yeah, I did.
Is there anything in the novel you would have liked to have seen in the movie? That you can remember?
I would have liked to have seen Newman's guts fucking spilled all over the place, like it was.
I like the fact we don't call him Nedra anymore. Everyone just calls him Newman.
Adrian Newman. But yeah, that scene in that book is so graphic. It's
that like my favorite bit is actually where Muldoon and Gennaro find him later, and like fuck it, the first line of dialogue or the first words out of Muldoon is like, "Maybe there's justice in the world after all," and you're like, "What, you fucking cold bastard." Mike, what aspect of the novel would you like to have made it into the movie if you had made the movie?
The Rex river raft scene. I think if they'd done that in '93, it might have been a little bit jarring, but if they did that now, especially in Dominion, I think that would be an absolute dog's bollocks scene.
That'd kick arse. That'd
really would.
That'd be cool. Yeah, so the movie came out, made a shitload of money. Guys, did any Ethel, because you're like me, you're a big toy, you're a big toy fan as well. Ethel, did you have any Jurassic Park toys growing up, and what was your favorites, if you had any, or Jurassic Park merchandise in general?
I didn't have any of the official toys. Because when it came out, I was a little bit past the toy toy phase of my life, for the most part. But I had some of the folders. Because they had those.
Oh yeah, you're telling me about that. Yeah, they were cool binders.
Oh yeah. It's like a little board game on the inside of each folder, and you get a scene from the movie on the front. It's all glossy and like high def.
High def folder, HD folders. Mark, I think you'd have been a bit older for the toys as well. Did you have any Birch growing up? Any video games?
Any other toys? I did have a few video games. Wore out every game I ever got playing.
Sorry, Mark, you broke up there, dude. Can you repeat that?
I said I wore out every Jurassic Park game I ever got. I would sit there and play nonstop until they wouldn't work no more. Really addicted.
Is there any that
Jurassic
sticks
Park.
with you for any console or anything like that?
I think the Sega Genesis, Jurassic Park, Rampage. I don't remember the one that was for PlayStation. There was a couple for PlayStation 1, but
the Lost World came out for PlayStation. The PS1 wasn't out at the time. I think Lost World, Jurassic Park, and Warpath, and I'll be getting into them next week. But yeah, the Sega one was cool because I think you could ride a Gallimimus as Grant and you had to shoot down a helicopter with an Uzi while you're on the back of a Gallimimus. It was good crack. But yeah, no, it's like anywhere you go, I think everyone at least had one piece of Jurassic Park merch. Trenchy, did you have any of the Jurassic Park toys growing up from any of the movies?
I have no idea. I had dinosaur toys, but I don't know if they were related to Jurassic Park or not.
Was there the JP logo on their leg, or can you remember? Oh, that's the Rampage edition. Hang on a minute. Hang on. I got it. Let's have a look.
Have this. They just brought
Okay, give us a Google search.
this is what cases.
That was my favorite, Ethel.
Oh, it was awesome. You could play as the Raptor or as Grant. Like, I don't know if you can see some of the scenes on the back. Hold on. That's okay. But yeah, no, it's cool. Cool stuff.
I had this one. It was the isomorphic one where you were looking down at Grant's hat, and I remember thinking, why the fuck is Alan Grant so fucking buff? I mean, he was like fucking Schwarzenegger. He was like with rocket launchers and flamethrowers. Mike, what about yourself? Have you any fond kind of memories of the movie, be it toys or figures?
Oh God, yeah. I've still got a lot of stuff from my original 9th birthday, which, you know, at the time it was like the Red Rex, the Explorer, the Stegosaur. But even then, it's like I'm still collecting even today. Like recently, like in the past year, I actually found the old '93. I forgot the name of the company that made them now, but the mugs that they released at the same time as Jurassic Park. I finally found. No, not Tetley. It was the one before it. I think it was Dankin or something. I want to say it begins with a D. But they had about 2 or 3 variants, and I finally found the one that I had when I was a kid. And I don't know what happened to the original. I might have broken it, or it might have just Mum might have snuck it into a charity shop or something. But I finally found it again. So it's like, I'm still collecting today. And if I ever see anything online and I can afford it, it's like, yeah, go on, then I'll have that.
I got this for Christmas when I was 10. My brother and sister actually bought it. They saved up for 3 months because this fucker was expensive when he came out originally.
Yeah.
I don't know how much, but he was not cheap. But I got this guy, and I've had him ever since. The only thing is, I had a bad habit of when I was playing with him. I left him outside, and there's bird shit permanently stuck to the side of his leg here. I cannot get it off for the life of me. So maybe it's some kind of, I don't know, evolutionary thing that the birds are like, that's incorrect. He should look more like us. I don't know.
You know the story of the Rex, don't you?
Yeah. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think we're going to see a feather? Do you think we're going to see the Rex with feathers in the next movie?
I think we'll see feathers. I don't think we'll see the JP Rex with feathers, because that'll be retconning the entire franchise up until this point. So if it was a different company, i.e. Biosyn, that created their own T-Rex with feathers, that's absolutely fine.
It's interesting though. Like, if you were going to do it, what if the fucker ended up in a colder climate, and that's why it grew feathers? But yeah, no, I suppose you don't want to wreck an icon, because this lady here is a cinematic icon, like, you know. Ethel, if dinosaurs, more scientifically accurate dinosaurs, turned up in the newest movie that's coming out, would you think that'd be cool, or are you like, nah, I like my dinosaurs like I like my dinosaurs? Or would you be like, that T-Rex looks like a chicken, would that bother you, or would you find it cool? Or
I think as long as they have both in there, like if you want to add the feathered dinosaurs, I'm fine with that, as long as you still keep the original dinosaurs that were in the other movies, you know? Because, like, there's no way, like, who's to say they didn't just have, like in the first Jurassic World movie, they're like, oh, they're sponsored by so-and-so, you know, or we've got this dinosaur, they want more vicious dinosaurs, so we got to make them different. So, like, you know, who's to say that they don't have, like, feathered dinosaurs? What if they're sponsored by KFC?
yeah. But no, but yeah, joking aside, you're dead right, Ethel, because, like, I was chatting with other people. I was chatting with Mike about this. I was chatting with other dinosaur fans, and yeah, there is going to be other companies that have access to the DNA now after the last movie. So it's like, I was even joking with a friend of mine. What if we get a bunch of dinosaurs that are based on the designs of the dinosaurs from the early 1900s? Like, you got a iguanodon with its fucking thumb sticking out of its nose, and you got like these frog-looking fucking things. I don't know. Just it'll be interesting. But Mark, what about you? Would you like to see more scientifically accurate dinosaurs, or do you think you're like, we got these dinosaurs, we got to stick with these dinosaurs?
Honestly, I wouldn't mind them introducing something different to the mix. I'm like, I agree with Ethel to you know, keep the dinosaurs we already got, but allow for them to expand the universe. Again, like I told you last stream, I want a Meg, and not the shitty Jason Statham Meg either.
What do you think, Mike? Would you like to see a proper megalodon in a Jurassic Park movie?
I don't know, because to me, whenever someone says Jurassic, I immediately go back to the whole Mesozoic era. So, because Megalodon's more of like I think it's Pleistocene. I forget what era it is now, but yeah, Pleistocene.
But they're brimming less. I can't pronounce. He's the little fucker that looks like a stoat with a beak. They're brimming him into it.
Yeah, but he's again like Jurassic era, so that still falls into the same category for me, even though you got everything else is different.
But it doesn't have to be. I don't think it has to be boxed in, because I still have my fingers crossed for a Dimetrodon. I want a Hispanic gang on a street corner in a car. Instead of staffies and bulldogs, they got Dimetrodons. Holmes, But fucking Dimetrodon, he's kind of dropped that. I'm going to be cancelled for that. But I want to see dudes with Dimetrodon. Yeah, I think it'd be cool to see a Meg. Or, well, okay, one other question though, right, guys? So it's Jurassic Park at a stretch. Yeah, include Mark's Meg, include the Dimetrodon. Ethel, what if mammoths and Smilodon tigers started showing up?
That'd be cool. Like, they should expand. Because who's to say that they don't make another park that's not Jurassic Park? It's like, I forget, what's the period after that? Was it Jurassic?
You got Jurassic, Cretaceous, and then after that it's the Pleistocene.
Yeah, Pleistocene. Yeah. So you got a Pleistocene park or an Ice Age park or.
Pleistocene, like mammoths and shit.
Yeah, Mark, what about that? Would you like to see mammoths and fucking saber-toothed cats and?
I would love to see a saber-toothed cat in a Jurassic Park.
What would you pit it against? What would you pit it against in the scene?
A dire wolf.
Okay, but if you had to pit it against a dinosaur, what dinosaur would you pit it against?
That's kind of hard because saber-toothed cats are fucking huge.
Allosaurus? Did you pit it against an Allosaurus?
Allosaurus would tear a saber-toothed cat apart.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe have a pack of saber-toothed cats square up against the velociraptors.
Yeah. Mike, if you were to pit a Smilodon against a JP creature, what would you like to pit it against? Why do you think it'd be cool?
I think, honestly, Ankylosaur. Give it a real fight. Give it a real fight for its money.
That'd be cool. Trench, what about you, dude? Would you like to see more prehistoric animals, bar dinosaurs, in Jurassic Park?
Oh, hell yeah, man. I'm down for anything. Like, I want to see a woolly mammoth fight something, because those things are big as fuck, and, like, they got the sharp tusk and shit, and they can stomp you out, like...
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Mike? Do you think they'll introduce stuff like that into this movie? Or...
I don't know if they'll introduce them into this movie, but they will definitely introduce them into the franchise. Like I said before, it's like, for me, I don't really class like prehistoric mammals to be in the same sort of a dinosaur era. But then if you go back as far as like the 70s and everything, they were always putting like mammoths and saber-toothed tigers and dimetrodons and everything with normal dinosaurs. So it almost feels it's part and part that it should go down that route. Like I said, to me personally, I wouldn't like it, but it's not to say that everybody else isn't going to like it either. So I'd say they probably should.
Like every fucking Kingfisher or Oxford book on dinosaurs has always had a section at the back with mammoths and smilodons, and then always a section at the start with trilobites and fucking dimetrodons. So
exactly.
Who's to say?
When are we gonna get...
What? What, Ethel?
When are we gonna get the giant bugs?
Yeah, we kind of got giant bugs in Rampage Edition, didn't we? What about that? Actually, that's a good question, Mike. What if like we got fucking large insects, or do you think that'd be pushing us?
No, I think that'd be something that would be in the realm of possibility for us. I mean, if you think we've got some pretty big insects now. Even like the land crabs that you get in, is it Australia, New Zealand, somewhere like that? Like massive buggers, the things that climb up coconut trees and shit.
Well, fucking Mark, I was doing a stream one night, and all of a sudden I heard it was like a fucking owl against the wind. No, it was a moth. It was a fucking moth. I was like, the fuck? Look at it. Look, God, go fuck off and fight Godzilla somewhere else. It's like, but yeah, no, that's basically, I think if the franchise wants to go forward, they need to introduce new creatures, and they need to get off the island. They've gotten rid of the island, and they need to show the world as kind of like, I don't know. Would it be good if they started going Dino Riders / Cadillacs and dinosaurs with like lads bombing around and would that be a bit too much?
I think that's a natural progression for it. I mean, as long as you don't do it as like the year is now 2025 and we're now riding dinosaurs and the buildings and cities have tumbled to the ground, then yeah, that's too extreme. But if you're talking like, say, the year 3000, for example, then yeah, I'd say that'd be a fairly accurate way for the direction for the franchise to go.
Okay, what if say you went out to somewhere like fucking Zimbabwe, and there's some poor farmer, so he's using a triceratops to plow a field. Do you think would we get away with that, or is that a bit?
I think we can get away with that. I mean, if we're talking about genetic hybrids in the sense that they're not quite dinosaurs and we've got different companies producing them, you could have a company out there that's producing more docile animals that are easier to train and handle than somebody that's like, oh, we need Triceratops to be aggressive and, you know, charge at everything it sees. So, to my mind, yes, you could well see a genetically engineered docile animal being used for labour or being treated like sheep or cattle or something like that.
Ethel, Mike, I'm going to be interested to see what you think, because I'm going to ask Ethel a different thing. Ethel, what if one of the companies went down the Weyland-Yutani route and the military were like, I want a T-Rex that shoots lasers out its arse? Could you see that? Not lasers out its arse, but weaponizing dinosaurs. Could you see the military weaponizing dinosaurs in this universe? And would it work?
Well, sure, because they already hinted at that with Jurassic World and trying to train the raptors. You know, they had Chris Pratt in there, like, oh.
So yeah, they still want to do the whole. Yeah, but that never works. Whether it's a Velociraptor or a Xenomorph, it's like that thing's just going to turn around and eat your fucking face. It's like there's no amount of pedigree chum that would stop that thing from fucking eating your bollocks. That's all I'm going to say.
But like I think the longevity of the series, they need to keep the idea of regular people in an enclosed park or area running from dinosaurs and trying to survive with unfamiliar prehistoric creatures. You know, like if they bring in the other crazy animals, like they bring in the giant centipedes and things like that. How cool is that? 1 minute you got a couple characters running from a T-Rex or a Velociraptor or whatever, and they think they're safe, and all of a sudden there's a giant centipede descending upon them. Now they're fighting a giant bug, or they're trying to escape that threat.
Yeah, it keeps it fresh. It keeps it fresh. Guys, I'm gonna wind it up here, but before I finish up, I'm gonna pose a question to all of you, starting with Mark. Mark, if you could visit a fully functional, non-disaster-ridden, non-Newman fucking employed Jurassic Park, would you visit it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I totally would.
And there's carnivores there as well.
Okay. I'd still go.
Okay. So you're going on the prospect that there's Newman isn't working there, and it's working perfectly fine. Okay. Ethel, what about you? Would you visit a Jurassic Park?
Only if the animals are as friendly as at the fair. You know, if I can go and I can pet like the friggin' the duck-billed dinosaurs, or I can go on a little ride, like maybe I ride around one of them little baby brontosauruses. That might be kind of fun. So yeah, I can get into that.
Okay. Trenchy. Trench, would you visit Jurassic Park if it opened?
I mean, fuck it. Yeah, I mean, like, I go to the zoo and, like, bears and panthers escape from there, apparently. So it's already, it's already threatening enough. Like, why not? Why not? Like,
Okay. And keep in mind, Newman isn't working there.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously you might get a raptor escape or whatever, but like I said, even at normal zoos, you have bears and panthers getting out, and those are quite dangerous as well. So, same, like, decent risk. Decent
Okay.
amount.
Mike, would you visit a real-life Jurassic Park if you could?
What kind of a daft question is that? Of course I would. The suitcase is still packed upstairs from 1993, waiting for the call.
Guys, I posed the question to everyone in the chat. Leave it in comment form. Also, just wanted to update and questions. Full Moon says I want a Triceratops that shoots laser beams from its two horns and rocks from its central horn. Savage. Let's see. Sexy Monkey says. At one point, I hear was gun. That was when Kieran Knightley was found the thing. I used to have a crush on her. I was so invested at the time. They were making human hybrids all right, but I can't remember. Yeah, it says Chris Pratt. Full Moon says Chris Pratt or Chris Rat. You decide. Right, I'm going to finish it up here, guys. I've been joined by the Solar Trench Coat, who's at the bomb off. I've also been joined by the awesome Mark's Monsters. I've been joined by the fantastic Mike Tarr. The guy's a legend. Check out his channel. Check out his work. He does amazing stop motion stuff. And I've been joined by the always awesome, always elegant Dancing Across. Check out her channel. Also, guys, if you can, subscribe to her channel because there's some bollocks that with that. Make sure to give Ethel as much. Give Ethel as much support as you can, okay? Because she's awesome. Everyone's awesome. Big thanks to Natalie. Big thanks to Full Moon. Big thanks to City Hunter Love. Big thanks to Sexy Monkey. Big thanks to JP Carnotaurus Dude. Big thanks to Wabanashi. Big thanks to Phil's Creepy Videos. And big thanks to Mike's Missus. She was in the chat as well. We're going to be back next Sunday discussing the sequel, The Lost World Jurassic Park. Probably one of the best Pete Postlethwaite movies ever made. And yeah, have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye now.
Adios.
Bye-bye.